Blender for Noobs.
Hello, this is Dan Nobles, and welcome to Blender for Noobs, and welcome to our character creation series of tutorials. We are on part 6 here, and what we're going to do here in part 6 is we are going to set up the eye nodes for our character. So we can kind of see, one thing I didn't show you in the last parts is how this character, once you bring him in right in from Make Human using the MHX format, how he actually comes in if you got Cycles Render set up here. So I'm going to just put him in object mode right now. And let me go ahead and save this so in case it crashes or something, I mean, it could happen. I'll put him in my test folder here. Call him tutorial test guy. Save his Blender file. Okay, he's saved. All right, now if I do, let's do a Shift Z render. Okay, now you can see once you render, do just a render mode render, he already has like all of his textures already assigned. It's absolutely great. I mean, even has his kind of blue jumpsuit or whatever we made here. So you can see as I posed his arm in a kind of a weird way, his clothes is breaking out that way. So that's all you need to do to fix that is just move his arm to a more natural pose. But if you don't see him here, what you can do by default, if I go to my world settings, I have a background set up, a color background set up, and I have a strength 0.25, but I think I probably also have a lamp. Maybe I don't. I do have a backdrop. Okay, and that's just diffused, so he's not getting any lighting from there. So I guess he's just getting the lighting from my basic setup in Blender. I can't see him. Where'd he go? Okay, yeah, I don't even want to look at that backdrop. So yeah, he's just getting some lighting from the world settings, and if I bump up the strength, you will see it get brighter. Okay, and that's just so you can see what he looks like right now. And the reason that you've got this transparency in the background is because if I go to my render settings, I have, well, first of all, I have the PNG format selected, and I have an alpha channel set up over here. And I also have up here under film transparent. So if I uncheck that, you can kind of see that it's getting the background now. And right now, actually, that looks a little bit better to look at. So I'll just leave that transparency off. Okay, so if we zoom in here, look at there, his eyes. What has happened to his eyes? You can't see them. And he's squinting because we made him squint, remember? So I'm going to, let me select one of these and do a control tab, go into pose mode, and let's shift select these and G, kind of open those back up so we can actually see his eyes, or rotate them. You can rotate them, remember, as well. Okay, so now his eyes are open, and see how this is coming in. Okay, now on your PC, if you're using a PC, this may look a little bit better because I found out that there's something that my graphics card is causing with this. And maybe I can test that as well. Let me go to up here. See, I'm using my GPU. Let's use CPU. Okay, yeah, it doesn't make a difference on here. So I don't know. I've used this on a laptop and they come in much better. So I can only assume it's something to do with my graphics card, or maybe it's something to do with Windows 10. I don't know. But anyway, regardless of this, even if you are seeing the eyes okay, they come in kind of, shall we say, flat. They don't look quite as good as they could. So I'm going to show you, while I fix my own, I'm going to show you how to make yours even better, even if you are seeing your eyes. Okay, the way I used to do it before is I would actually select the eye, go into my nodes here. Okay. And if I look at the image texture, it says blue-green eye, so I know I have my eye selected. So you can see that the MHX2 plugin creates all these nodes for you, which is absolutely fantastic. But again, like I say, I don't really care for the way the eyes are done, so I'm going to show you how to fix those. So we're going to go to our materials, and by default, we have this blue-green eye here, which we're still going to use that, but we're going to set up different nodes. So what I'm going to do is, I already have the node set up somewhere else, so I'm just going to append them from another file. So you're actually going to be creating them from scratch, but I'm going to bring them in to show you what they are. So I'm going to choose append. And I think I actually had it under test blend. Now I go to the materials. I have created an inner eye and an outer eye. So select both of those, shift select them, and append from library. And now all I've done is I've taken those materials and I've appended them into this file, so I will be able to use them. Okay, so I'm not going to use this setup, so I'm just going to minus that out. And oh my God, it's very scary. So I'm going to plus here, and I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to choose my inner eye, and I'm going to plus again and choose my outer eye. Now you won't be able to do this, but I'm going to show you how to create these. So what you want to do is you want to do a plus, and you want to, in fact, I'll go ahead and do that. Do a new, come down here, and then just call it whatever is good for you, but I underscore inner and I underscore outer is should work. So just to start with, create an I underscore inner, and I'm going to minus mine out of there. So you'll have this created, but you'll have your basic nodes here, and do a control up arrow. This is the setup that you need. So you can delete those other ones, your default that you have there, or I think it's probably a diffuse in a material output that you might have. So you can, reuse those if you want, or you can just delete them and recreate them. So in order to do this, you're going to do a Shift A. You're going to go to texture and choose image texture. So that'll get you that one. And you're going to do a Shift A, and you're going to go to shaders, and you're going to grab the diffuse shader, which is that one there, and Shift A, shader, and you want a glossy shader, which is that one there, and you want to mix shader, so Shift A, shader, mix shader, throw it in there, and also you need the material output. So if you don't have that already, just do a Shift A, go to output, and choose material output. Now, kind of important, pay attention to the settings that I have here. The diffuse is 0, the glossy is 0.017. So come down to your glossy and go 0.017. Add that in there. Go to your color, select that, make sure it is set all the way up, which I believe that is what I did here, or maybe not. Okay, well, not too important there then. Oh, wait a minute, I chose the wrong one. Glossy roughness. Unhook that for a second. I thought that one was all the way up, but maybe not. Okay, anyway, so you want to hook color to color, color to color here. And by the way, the image texture for this, you can see light blue eye. That's what mine says because I got it from another character. What you want to do is you want to go get the eye texture that you made for your Make Human character. In order to do that, you want to choose Open. Okay, and remember I said that Make Human stores all the pieces in the Documents folder. So go to your Documents folder, go to Make Human, go to, you probably don't have this V1. I think that's what I did, but anyway, you're looking for your Exports folder again, and you're looking for a Textures folder. So open the Textures folder, and I can see my blue-green eye here. I have a lot of other stuff because I created other characters before, but you're looking for your eye texture. So just double click on that and that will give you your eye texture. Actually, I should have done it right here. So let me just do that real quick. Okay. So the mix shader, notice it is 0.155. So come down to your mix shader and do a 0.155. Okay, so we have all the setup here. I'm going to actually delete all the stuff that I had here, so I can kind of create this along with you. So this is what it looks like, color to color, color to color. And we want to go into our mix shader, hook that together, and it's shader out to surface. And that is the node setup that you want for the inner eye. Okay, Control up arrow, get us back here. I'm not going to worry about setting this up to the human yet, or to his eyes. We're going to next do our eye outer. If you don't have the eye outer material, just do, plus new material, choose new, name it eye_outer right here, and that will create your new material. So I already have one. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go to eye outer. Okay, so this is the setup for the eye outer. And so you want a transparent node, you want a glossy node, a mix shader, and a material output. So if you want to, whatever you've come up with by default, you can either leave those there if you probably have an output that you want to reuse, or you can delete them. But anyway, in order to get these, just do a Shift A, and we need to get transparency. That's a shader. So go to shader and go to transparent. So that's that one. We also need a glossy node. Shift A, go to shader, grab your glossy node, drop it down here. We also need a mix shader. Shift A, shader, mix shader, right there. And of course we need the output. Shift A, output, material output. Okay, and I'll pay attention to the settings that I have here. The glossy is 00000, so I'm going to change the glossy to just 0. Okay, and I think maybe this is the one where the color was, yeah, this one the color is all the way up to the white there. So make sure that's changed. The mix shader, we want a 0.145, so 0.145. And what we're actually doing with this outer material is we are making kind of a fake glass. We're not using the glass node because it doesn't work as well in this case. So we're kind of just making, you can kind of think of this node setup as a fake glass setup. So I'm going to delete my other nodes here. And again, kind of create this along with you. And what you want to do is just pull your transparency shader in here, glossy shader in here, and shader output to the surface. Okay, so this is the setup for the outer eye. So Control up arrow. So now you should have both of your setups, and you can kind of see here under the preview that this is kind of like a reflective, transparent, kind of surface. So that is what we want. This is going to be the outer lining of his eye. The inner part of his eye is that texture for his eye, but with some glossiness added to it. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, I will show you. Let me do Shift Z and come over to the eye here, tab into edit mode so it's selected. Okay, make sure occlude is turned on like so. And if you go in here, let's turn faces on, it's a little bit easier. Just go in here and over one of the faces, choose L. Okay, that'll select that. What you're doing is selecting the entire part of the outer eye. Come over here, same thing, L, select that. So now you have both parts of the outer eye, and you want to come over to your outer eye, select your outer eye, and assign the material to them. Okay, so that is put this material on the outer part of the eye. Now, if you just choose H on your keyboard, you will hide the outer eye, and that will expose this inner eye. Okay, so now if you choose A on your keyboard, you will select the entire pieces of the inner eye. Once you have those selected, just choose your inner eye material here and assign that as well. Okay, so now you can kind of test it. You can deselect it, and while your inner eye is selected here, you can say select it or deselect that, and you can select outer eye, but we've got it hidden so we don't see it. So I'm going to do an Alt-H to unhide it, and there it is. So if I go into wireframe mode, you can kind of see, hopefully, how this works. The Z, and let's see if we can see these puppies. Choose A to deselect, and kind of see how there is a outer piece and an inner piece. Again, you can select the outer, deselect, choose the inner, select that, and see how the inner is just barely inside that outer piece. So there's two pieces to the eye here. And so again, what we've done, what we've done is we've put this glassy piece on the outer, and then we put this actual texture on the inner. So it tries to kind of duplicate what the eye, looks like. You have this kind of, that can't even think of the name of the part of the eye that is like around your eye there. That's kind of glassy looking. Iris? I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. Actually, the iris of your eye is like that middle piece, right? And then in the very middle is the pupil. Anyway, so now if we do, let me go ahead and save this so I don't lose it. Do a Shift-Z. Okay, I'm getting kind of a better looking eye here, but there's still things that we need to do in order for this to look like it should. So at least it's not completely dark anymore. But yeah, we've got to fix it so it looks correct. And by the way, this eye node setup, I'm going to have to give full credit to a guy named Punk Duck from the Make Human forums. He gave me a very nice layout of how he does his eyes. Very nice graphic, and I was able to create these nodes from that, and it is just awesome. It doesn't look quite awesome yet because we haven't set up the lighting, but we're going to be doing that in the next part of the tutorial, part 7. So, hope you enjoyed this part of the tutorial.